Hey, it's Eric with the Future Mill. Let's talk about compound interest. Supposedly, Albert Einstein said it's the eighth wonder of the world. I checked Snopes to fact check that, and I'm not real sure, and I don't think they are either. But let's take it from multi-billionaire Warren Buffett. He said it's a pretty simple concept, but over time, it does extraordinary things. So if nothing else, Warren Buffett definitely made a quote about compound interest. So let's do this. First, you have simple interest, then you have compound interest. Simple interest is where you're going to earn a set amount on a set amount of money, but it does not compound on top of itself. So I want to teach you a little bit about interest in itself, show you simple interest, and then we'll look into compound interest, how it works, and how it makes your money work for you without you doing anything else. The way simple interest works is if you have a 7% return on your money and you invest $10,000, how this is going to work is you're going to get 7% on your money, which equals $700. But then the next year, you only get 7% again on that $10,000. So this 700 just stays over here by itself. The $10,000 is repeated again, and you have another $700. Let's say this is year 1, year 2, and year 3. It doesn't matter, you could go all the way to year 40. What's going to happen is you're still going to have $10,000 and you're going to get $700 on that $10,000. Now, yes, this does add up because you're going to have $700, $1,400, $2,100 here after 3 years, but it's not compounding. You're still only getting the 7% on the $10,000. Now, let's take a look at how it works with compound interest. So here's compound interest. I'm not quite smart enough to do the math on a whim, so let's take a look at this. We have 7%, and if you get the same 7% return, the first year if you have $10,000, you're going to have $10,700, just what we saw with simple interest. The difference is, now we're going to take $10,700 and we're going to have a 7% return, and that will give us $11,449 instead of just $11,400, because if we went back to simple interest, we would get $700 a year. This would give us $1,400 extra. Now we've made an extra $49. Then the next year, we're going to take that $11,449. We're going to get 7% interest. We're going to come back down here, and that's going to be $12,250.43. With simple interest, you would have gotten 7%, and $700 a year would have equaled $2,100 off of your $10,000 over 3 years' time. But with compound interest, the way this works is you're actually going to have $2,250.43. So you come out ahead with compound interest because every time you make money, then the next year, that interest is added on to the money you made plus your original principal amount that you started with. This is very, very small figures because what we're looking at right now is if you have 3 years of the same money. Now let's take a look if we actually invest money and if we fast track this for 45 years, what does that look like? That's where the big numbers come into play. So check this out. Before I get ahead of myself, let's look at what the S&P 500 has done so then I can really talk about this 7% return because there's no guarantee on these returns whatsoever when you're investing in the stock market. And this is not a recommendation on what to invest in whatsoever. This is just to give you an idea of where I'm getting 7% when I'm talking about this compound interest. So if we look at the past 25 years, when it comes to the S&P 500, and we're looking at an index here, this is the Vanguard 500 Index Investor, VFINX. It tracks the S&P 500, and this is the index fund that you could buy into to track the index. So if you look at this, we have a 10% return for the past 25 years. So from 1996 all the way to part of 2020, it's tracked. You're having phenomenal years, then down years, 9% down, 12%, 22% down, up 28%. Go to 2008, which is in everybody's head, it was down 37.02%. But then you fast forward, the bull market that has continued up to 2020 has been phenomenal. We had a down year in 2018, but other than that, it's been positive. That's 25 years, 10%. We take out the first 4 years here, and we only go to 2000 to 2020, or 2001 specifically to 2020. Now we are at 6.22%. That incorporates in the World Trade Center crash, the dot-com bubble, and then also the global market crisis, which happened in 2008. So if we're looking at all of these that were incorporated in that time, it's a 6.22% return. So I think it's safe to say we're just going to go with a 7% return for right this minute based on these numbers. We have 10%, 6.22. Let's find not quite a happy middle. Let's go a little bit more conservative. We're at 7%. Now we know we're using 7% compound interest for our calculation. Let's take a look at this Excel spreadsheet that I have. It's vertex42.com. It's an awesome spreadsheet. I have no affiliation whatsoever with them. I appreciate them making it so I could use it in this video. But what we're going to do is we're going to figure the 7%, and we're going to have a hypothetical scenario that you watching this right now are 20 years old. You're going to invest for 45 years. You start at 20, you invest until you're 65 when you plan to retire. If you do that and you start investing, you don't have any money to start with, but you put in $500 per month. Now, $500 per month totals $6,000 a year. This is maxing out an IRA. And once I show you these numbers, it's going to blow your mind. This is why people say you should start investing as early as possible. All right, if you look at this, the total invested amount is going to show up. The interest earned is going to show up. Watch how these numbers differentiate. You only invest $270,000 and your interest earned is $1,626,297.34. So after 45 years, if you had an average 7% annual return, you would have $1,896,297.34 off of $500 per month, or $270,000 total invested. That in itself is super exciting. I know I'm a total nerd when it comes to this. If you get really excited about this too, be sure to give this video a like. And now let's check this out. What we're going to do is we're going to look at if you started investing at age 30 instead of at age 20. So now you would only have 35 years to invest if you maxed out your IRA every year. Watch how much this number changes. You literally decrease your amount by double. You went from 1.8 million to 900,000. So your total invested is 210,000. That's only 60,000 less. But because you didn't invest for 10 full years earlier than when you started, you now have an interest earned of 690,000 and only $900,000. That is why everybody says to start investing early and keep putting away as much money as you can. That is the key with this. Now we're going to say you didn't start until 40 years old. I would take a bet that if you started at 40 instead of 30, we're going to be at 450,000. Let's see. 405,000, even less, because you actually didn't put as much in totally invested, so it splits it even more than the $450,000 I talked about. So $405,000, $35 is what you would have if you invested $500 a month for 25 years. Remember, we started at 1.8 million if you start investing at 20 years old, just maxing out an IRA. Now at 25 years, if you're at 25 years of investing, $500 a month, you put in 150,000. Now remember, we started, you were going to do 270,000 if you started at 20. So it's still only $120,000 difference in how much you invest. But look at how much time costs you when it comes to compound interest. So if you have not yet tried something like this, take one of these compound interest calculators, play with it a little bit, and see how much you need to invest to save and hit your target goal. Now, one thing I want to point out, when I'm talking about compound interest and how this money grows, there is inflation. Now, inflation is averaging about 3% per year if you look at the historical numbers, and this is something that should be taken into consideration, but it is a lot more to go into for just one video, so I don't want to overwhelm you in this. But I really appreciate you watching this. As you can tell, compound interest excites me. If it excites you too, be sure to like and subscribe, and if you have not yet, check out thefuturemill.com. We're here to help you with financial planning and investment management.